And we have ourselves a real Jim Dandy of our Saturday slate for Week 8, including this top 25 matchup in the Big Ten. Number 24, Michigan, a small road favorite in Champaign against number 22, Illinois. Wolverines just 1-5 against the spread this season. Third Saturday in October means these two get together to dance. It's Bama and Tennessee, with Bama laying 3 on the road in Knoxville. Both teams coming off back-to-back shaky performances. And in the marquee game of the weekend, Texas, a 5-point favorite over Georgia. The Dogs had been favored in 49 straight games. The market has been moving away from them this week. All right, with that, Joseph, we turn to our friend Sam Acho. Always a pleasure to have him in studio.
Looks great.
Always looks great as well.
Celebrate the Mets, like Grimace.
By the way, before we get started here, where are you headed after your work on ESPN Bet Live to call a game this weekend?
It'll be Army. So ECU at Army. I cannot wait for the atmosphere. I've heard so much about the environment. It'll be electric.
If Army had recruited you, would you have gone to a place like Army?
I don't know if I have the toughness for Army. I think I would have, but it's a little bit tough for your boy.
All right, speaking of tough, I don't know if you've heard Georgia-Texas square off this weekend. I've been going through some handicapping on this one. Total sitting 56.5. It's been creeping up. I think we're in for a shootout here. I look at Texas's defense, number 1 in the country in scoring. They've earned it, but they haven't really played a lot of great offenses yet. Some of those quarterbacks have already been benched. Could we be in for a shootout in this one?
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. 2 reasons. Number 1, Texas hasn't been tested. Now, they've won their big games, but now you're playing against one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football in Carson Beck. Now, Barron Sorrell, Jahdae Barron, some of those defensive stars, Ethan Burke, have to play big. But Carson Beck has had over 30-plus 20-yard plays or more. Now, there are some mistakes. Texas can take advantage of them. On the other side, Texas is going to have an opportunity versus Georgia. Georgia gives up big plays.
Oh, yeah.
And so, offensively, I think Texas can put up points. Georgia defensively gives up big plays. Could be a recipe for some high scoring.
Yeah, the market expects your Longhorns to win this game, and if that happens, that's now 2 L's on the schedule for the Georgia Bulldogs. If you look at their adjusted win total, it's at 9.5. So if they fall to a second loss and people want to bet the under, do you see a third on their schedule?
I do, if they were to lose. If they were to lose this game, that means that some of the flaws that we have seen on tape will be exposed even more. Who do they play on that schedule? They play Ole Miss and they play Tennessee. 2 really good teams. Now, Tennessee has to figure out their offense, but those are big tests if Georgia were to lose to Texas.
Be fitting for Lane Kiffin to lose all his big games and then go ruin someone else's season in a spot where it doesn't matter for the Rebs anymore. All right, you see Tennessee on that list. They've got a big showdown with Bama this weekend. Tale of 2 seasons for the Vols. First 3 games of the year at 63 points per game. Last 3 games of the year, conference schedule, 20 points per game. What's wrong with the offense, and do we see them fix it here in the Alabama game?
Well, I think it's the quarterback that's wrong. Nico Iamaleava. He was great early, but he struggled later, and it's not because people are in his face. Pocket is clean, guys are wide open, he's simply overthrowing passes. Now, mind you, he's a freshman. He has to get adjusted to SEC play. There was a series in the last game versus Florida. He took 3 sacks in a row. That's just maturity. So with experience comes maturity. Hopefully this experience will help them be more matured so their offense can get back on track.
Acho, a term that we like to use.
Fluctuations, I love it.
Fantastic. Fluctuation from week to week is something we talk about in college football. LSU coming off that big win over Ole Miss. Is it possibly a letdown spot traveling to Fayetteville to take on Arkansas?
Absolutely. I think this is definitely a letdown spot because what we've seen in college football is that teams get up and they go down. You look at teams like Notre Dame, who had big wins early, then lose to NIU. Alabama had a huge win versus Georgia, then they go and lose to Vanderbilt. LSU found a way to beat Ole Miss late in that game. Will they be a little bit confident? These are 18, 19, 20-year-olds trying to say, okay, man, we are LSU. Arkansas and Taylor Green, their transfer quarterback from Boise State, they have something else to say about it.
Arkansas's defensive game plan against Tennessee was sick. If they have something like that in store for Nussmeier and the Tigers, watch out, upset alert. All right, speaking of heart attacks, Illinois last week, 23-point favorite, survives in overtime against Purdue. Now they got to turn around. Here comes Michigan off their bye. Illinois catching 3.5 at home. Can they spring the upset over Michigan?
I think they can. Michigan, though they're coming off of a bye week, they're still trying to figure out what to do at quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had so many issues at quarterback. Is it Alex Orji? Is it Jack Tuttle? Jack Tuttle comes in, he's supposed to be the passer. Then you saw some interceptions. That didn't help their offense. So Michigan wants to be a run-the-ball-first football team, but Illinois plays great defense as well. And so I think these are 2 similar styles of offenses, 2 similar styles of defenses. Michigan may be in for trouble.
All right, finally, let's go to the ACC here. Sam, Miami has been unblemished so far. They're a 5-point favorite against Louisville on Saturday. Can they potentially get tripped up?
I don't think so. And this just said, yeah, man, Louisville's got an opportunity, but then you turn on the tape and Louisville their big plays aren't as big as they were in years past. Their defense isn't as dominant as it was last year. And so, though I feel like Louisville has an opportunity to give Miami a run for their money, they have to be able to finish in the passing game, in the running game, and defensively. They haven't done it this year. That's why I'm leaning towards Miami in this one.
Doesn't help that this game is at noon. Doesn't give the fans enough time to get lubed up for such a big showdown.
Sam Acho, the one and only, joining us here on ESPN Bet Live. 10 Hut. We enjoy your call at Army this weekend.